Meteorologist Mike Seidel is there surveying some of that damage that we saw in Logan County, Ohio, where, Mike, people didn't waste any time starting to clean up yesterday, did they?
No, they didn't, and they're going to have another beautiful day today. The sun is just up over Indian Lake. A chilly morning. It's been frosty out here, but it's going to warm up to 60 this afternoon, which will certainly aid the cleanup here in this area that got hit hard night before last at about 8 p.m. It was an EF-3, and by the way, we got a statement from National Weather Service in Wilmington. This is their jurisdiction, and they've now confirmed 7 tornadoes, including this EF-3, but they still have more work to do. Some of these were long-track tornadoes. So they're trying to piece together the information, but they have 7 areas of tornado damage that they're looking at. Meanwhile, I want to show you this one. This one first touched down in Freiburg. This is a small community west-northwest of where we are, near the lake in Lakeview, and a farmer took this video. Look at this. He even said he saw the funnel come down and then become the tornado and just starts picking up and sucking up debris in this basically a farm area out there in Freiburg, and then it came over here and touched down at 7:59. They had a 14-minute lead time on the warning. The watch went out at 4:15 in the afternoon, so there was plenty of heads up. But unfortunately, 3 lives were lost in this community and a lot of damage. They're still trying to get the power back on. These houses here are total losses, basically almost blown off their foundations. And you can look back here. We're looking back to where we were yesterday. Across US 33, which, by the way, is closed in and out of this area. You have to kind of work your way around on county roads to get in here and state roads. But there's the damage all over this place. The tornado came through this way and then hit Russell's Point and Orchard Island. Those 2 areas were hit very hard, too. And the lake is just basically about 200 yards in that direction off to the east. This is a very busy area in the summertime. I mean, there's just hundreds of recreational vehicles. Thousands of people come out here to enjoy the summer, enjoy the lake. So you can imagine they want to get this area up and running, at least the businesses too, by Memorial Day. So Kelly, just a horrible scene out here. And by the way, by my count, we've had 18 tornadoes in Ohio in March. 18 in March. Or I should say 18 this year, and their average over the past 30 years for the entire year is 19. So they're off to, unfortunately, a very busy start to the severe weather season, and the peak months tend to be March, April, and May in the U.S.
Right. And Mike, I have a quick question for you. I'm not sure if you know the answer or not, but yesterday morning, Jim Cantori was asking an official there about, the number of unaccounted. Is everybody accounted for, basically? I know you said 3 people lost their lives, and there were probably a lot of injuries, too, right?
There were some injuries. There were a lot more injuries over in that Winchester tornado over in Indiana. That was between Muncie and Indianapolis. That was also an EF-3. Last time I saw, there were 3 critical, and then a lot of other injuries. A lot of folks went to the hospital and were released or were treated on the scene. I don't know about the missing persons, if they're running a list. We've been trying to ascertain that. I was looking online earlier this morning, but I've seen nothing in the news about if there are any people missing. I know yesterday the sheriff said they were going to have to go out and do more search and rescue to see if there were any more fatalities, and he was thinking there would be, but we didn't hear any updates, so that's good news.
Okay.
Right at this point, the death toll stands at 3 here in Lakeview.
Yeah, obviously 1 is too many, and we pray for the recovery of those who are injured in the storms as well. Meteorologist Mike Seidel, thank you so much for the update. Meteorologist Mike Seidel joins us live now from Logan County, where it was really hard hit there, Mike. Are you seeing devastation in a huge area, or is it kind of spotty?
It's a wide area, so it's really not spotty. The tornado was definitely not skipping through this area. First touchdown in Freiburg, west-northwest of here, came in here in this part of Logan County. This is Lakeview, and then went right across the southern part of the lake, including Russell's Point and also Orchard Island. Those areas also hard hit. Here's some drone video from this area of Logan County, and this lake is huge. I can't even imagine what it's like out here in the summertime. There are thousands of RVs around the lake, and just tons of people. Thousands of people come out here to enjoy the lake, and fortunately, most of the area is fine. But when you get right into the path where we are, then you get the damage. You can see that from above. And here on the ground this morning, look at these homes. Look at this house. It's lost its whole front part of the house. Meanwhile, behind it, a huge, I don't know if that's an oak tree, looks like an oak tree, over the truck, and then across US-33, just piles of debris from what has been classified as at least an EF-3 tornado. That's a strong tornado, winds at least 136 miles an hour, and it touched down here a minute before 8. 2 nights ago, so right after sundown. So they had some twilight. The sirens went off 10 minutes before. The warning was out 14 minutes before. So the neighborhood knew about this tornado that unfortunately killed 2 folks. We'll keep you apprised of the situation. There were 20 injuries here, mostly broken bones from the twister.
And meteorologist Mike Seidel joins us now from Logan County, which is the scene of a deadly tornado and extensive damage. Mike, what kind of damage are you seeing there this morning?
Well, as you know, it was rated an EF-3. We don't know where on the scale on the EF-3 as far as the winds. They start at 136 miles an hour. But this is some of the damage this morning. And houses that have been hit pretty hard, they're going to have to be basically leveled, torn down. The tree just sheared off the top. The tornado came in from behind the house, came in from the west and moved right across here. It touched down at just a minute before 8 on Thursday night, so just after sundown. They had a warning out for 14 minutes. The sirens were going. People heard the sirens. The watch came out in the afternoon about 4:15, so they had plenty of lead time. So Storm Prediction Center and also the SPC and also the local weather service gang in Wilmington, Ohio, who did the survey yesterday, did a bang-up job. So far, that weather service office has found 7 tornadoes. They don't have all the details. Some of these were long track tornadoes, meaning they were on the ground for a long period of time. This one touched down in Freiburg. In fact, I'm going to make an audible call for the video from Freiburg, and hopefully we've got that loaded up. We can show you what's going on there. But again, the tornado first touched down there. The farmer saw it, the funnel cloud down on the ground, now a tornado coming by that. You can see his red barn, debris everywhere, more of a farming area over there. And then it comes across the fields and open areas into Lakeview, then Russell's Point, and then Orchard Island, which are communities just around the corner, just around the bend, counterclockwise on the lake here. This is a huge lake, and there's thousands of people out here in the summertime, as you can imagine, a recreational area, just a fun place to be. Fortunately, I think this is a good thing that it hit in March and not in June, July, or August, when there would have been many, many more people here in Lakeview. So EF-3, about 25 people injured, some of those with broken bones, and 3 fatalities in this area. Despite the warning and the watch, we still, unfortunately, Lynette, lost 3 locals to this EF-3 twister. And they, as I mentioned, 7 twisters. Now, I believe the count is at 18 in Ohio this year. And the average, 30-year average, is 19, and we're only in early March. So it goes to show you how busy it's been this far north. I mean, it's only mid-March to get twisters this far north. And I think the average, 30-year average number of tornadoes in Ohio in March, I believe, is 1 or 2. So we are way ahead of the game, and just goes to show you that it seems like, and it's really true, severe weather season never really stops. It's almost year-round now, Lynette.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And again, we still have the whole season to go. But like you said, it looks like it's year-round. Thank you, meteorologist Mike Seidel, for the update. We'll get back to you a little later.
Well, let's take you straight out to western Ohio, where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel.
He joins us from Logan County in a community grappling with the aftermath of a deadly EF-3 tornado. Mike?
And good morning, Lynette. And we're going to look down the street. We've got gentlemen up on the roof trying to get the blue tarp up there on a house that hasn't been damaged too much. We're looking down past the prime area, the middle, the median of the path of the twister, EF-3 twister at this point. Probably won't get rated any higher. We'll find out what the winds end up being, at least 136 miles an hour. And then beyond that, the power crews trying to get these poles back up and the power back on. A lot of power still out. This whole area in around the Indian Lake area, these towns, this is the Lakeview area, also Russell's Point and Orchard, hit very hard by the twister on Thursday night. But another beautiful day for the cleanup. As you can see, a lot of cleanup and a lot of homes that are just going to have to be leveled. That is the takeaway here from this twister. Again, 7 twisters from the National Weather Service in nearby Wilmington, Ohio. 7 twisters in March. Ohio averages 1 over the past 30 years, and now they've had basically as many twisters this year as they would see in an entire year.
And meteorologist Mike Seidel joins us now from Logan County, where that's the scene of the deadly tornado and the extensive damage. Mike, what are you seeing there this morning? I see you've got your heavier coat on, too, so temperatures aren't exactly warm for the cleanup this morning either.
No, it was a bit frosty this morning. Temperatures down just above freezing. We're going to have a nice warm-up today. We've got a bit of a northwest wind, but there's still a nip in the air. We're in the 40s, mid-40s, heading up into the into the 50s today. So another good day to clean up. Yesterday started off kind of cloudy and dreary, and then it ended up nice and sunny. You can see the damage everywhere you look. Big trees either sheared off or blown over on that house over there. Doing some minor cleanup here. These homes that you're seeing in the distance, in the background, they're going to have to be leveled. I even think that the house there is just structurally unsafe and is going to have to come down, and they're going to have to rebuild. Also, look at these homes. Now, we're just on the other side, just behind this house. You can see the berm from the lake. This is Indian Lake, a huge recreational area. As the temperatures warm up, thousands will descend on the area. There are thousands, literally thousands, of RVs around the lake here about an hour west of Columbus. And look at the debris. Just everything's just flattened. And those homes down there towards 33, US 33, just piles of rubble. And the police still have a roadblock up there. That's US 33, and it's closed in both directions from here going back towards Marysville. About a 10-mile stretch is closed in both directions, and that's one of the ways you get to Russell's Point and also Orchard Island. Those areas also hard hit. You can get in there the back way, but this main U.S. highway is shut down here for now, and it's been shut down since the twister hit on Thursday night. Touching down at 7:59 p.m., 14 minutes after the warning was issued. The sirens went off at least 10 minutes before, and the watch was issued at 4:15 in the afternoon. So the locals have plenty of watch and warning time. But even with that, we still, unfortunately, lost 3 people in this area, and about 25 injuries, some of those with broken bones, and also you get the scrapes and abrasions from the twister. EF-3, Weather Service locally in Wilmington, 7 twisters confirmed. 1 EF-3, 2 EF-2s, and 4 EF-1s. So Lynette and Paul and everybody back at the Weather Channel, we've been watching this. We saw it coming, and just amazing how much severe weather, how many tornadoes we've had so far, and just alone in March, and we're not even getting even into the peak of the season at this latitude here in the lower 48.
All right, Mike, and unfortunately, it looks like we're going to see more and more of these scenes that were behind you as the season goes on and continue as the years, because, again, we have that warming climate. We'll get back to you a little bit later. Thank you so much for this update. Let's take you straight out now live to Western Ohio, where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel.
He joins us from Logan County in the community grappling with the aftermath of a deadly EF-3 tornado. Mike?
Stand by. Here. Yes, indeed, an EF-3 twister here in the areas right off Indian Lake. Look at the damage here. This is just a pile of rubble from homes that were sitting here right off US 33. As I mentioned earlier, police presence still right now because of the issues going down the road, power issues. Crews have been up there since yesterday morning trying to get the poles back up and the power back on. Fortunately, we have another very nice day for cleanup. Temperature right now is in the mid-40s. Winds running 10 to 15 miles an hour. And we want to show you across the street. Chris Erickson will walk over this pole. Here's one of those poles that was snapped by the winds, estimated at least 136 miles an hour. By the way, EF-3 range, 136 to 165. So we'll see where it falls once the National Weather Service in Wilmington, Ohio, does their final assessment. They're still looking at the data. Some of these are long-track tornadoes, and we're on the ground for quite a while. And it came from this direction, from the west, and noticed all the debris over there. This is where we were yesterday, the laundromat, these commercial buildings, still the steel beams there, but the roof is gone. And you can see in the distance, up on the roof there in the distance, trying to get the tarp on there. So any additional rain that comes expected later next week doesn't get into these buildings and cause additional water damage. Today's severe threat in South Texas. We'll have more on that coming up here on the Weather Channel. Good morning once again from Lakeview, Ohio, scene of an EF-3 twister that touched down here on Thursday. 3 fatalities, about 25 injuries with broken bones and abrasions. And I want to bring in the sheriff, Randall Dodds, who has been so kind to us over the days. Thanks for your time giving us all the information. And we want to start off with the fact that we had 3 fatalities, but yesterday morning you went out with your crews and you were expecting to find more folks.
Yeah, based on the damage, the assessment of what I've seen, I would have bet my paycheck we would have had numerous more fatalities, but only 3. So thank God for that.
Now it's the cleanup.
Yeah, major cleanup.
Yeah.
This place is devastated in pockets, and it looks like a bomb's went off here. So it's a major undertaking, but as you can tell, you see around here, the cleanup has started. The volunteers are out here, so yeah, but it's going to take a long time.
And as we head into April, May, we head to the tourist season. This is a huge, what, a 7,000-acre lake?
Yeah, about between 6,000 and 7,000-acre lake here.
And more RVs than I've ever seen in my life. So
right.
you mentioned 200,000 to 300,000 folks up here on a weekend. How is this going to impact the economy and the status of some of these businesses as we head towards Memorial Day?
Well, we track that would be over a 3 or 4 month period, but we could in the summertime we could have 30, 40,000 people here. Oh, it'll have an effect on it up here because of the economic growth. You know, it's this Indian Lake area. That's tourists. It brings a lot of money into Logan County. So we'll still have people come up, but there'll be some that won't. So it will have some effect on us. Absolutely.
Yeah, people hear tornado damage at the lake, and they think, okay, we're not going there this summer. Even though we always want to let the audience know it's a small percentage. This tornado path, it's a small percentage of the impact, so much of the area around the lake is fine.
Yes, and it is. It's fine, and we'll still be open for business as best we can. And this poor Indian Lakes had you know, this is. Things come in threes, you know. COVID affected us. Then we had areas up here at the lake last year with the weed control in the water because it's actually too clean. And now the tornado too clean.
Never heard that before.
It is too clean. I'm telling you. They've done a great job with that. And then of course now the tornado hit. So they say things come in threes. So we hope we're done with that.
Let's hope so. But you got to get the power back on to the Central Business District, of course.
Right. And that's going to take some time because as you can tell, power lines are down, poles are down.
Right here, a lot of poles down right next to us.
Absolutely. So and it affects a lot. It affects many areas. One pole goes down, but it can affect a lot of us up here, a lot of areas.
And your takeaway on the response on Thursday night? You know, I hit at 1 minute before 8. The sirens went off, and the warning was out 14 minutes earlier. How do you think the community responded?
Overwhelming response. I would tell you not only from the community, but also the first responders, our law enforcement partners. It doesn't matter what uniform you wear, what agency you work for. We're all brothers and sisters, and I was very proud of the team effort that got forth, proud to be part of it, and we will debrief, and there's some maybe things we could have done or should have done, but overall it went well.
You've been on the force 35?
I'm in my almost my 34th year.
34th year, okay. I gave you an extra year there, Sheriff.
I probably looked like that. So.
No. You don't look a day over 29. No. But your assessment, you've been here through a lot of weather, a lot of severe weather, winter storms. How does this rank?
I would say by far the worst. You know, we had the ice storm in 05, which was tough. But as far as the total devastation, this is by far the worst I've ever seen.
Yes, and the worst as far as fatalities?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time, Sheriff.
Thank you very much.
And we really appreciate you getting back to us
absolutely
back in Atlanta, because I know you're busy and you've got all the media coming after you. We really thank you for your efforts.
Well, thank you for coming up and sharing this.
And good luck with cleanup. And I'm sure Chris and I, or my photographer, have been talking about it. We just can't even imagine what that lake looks like on a hot, sunny day on a Saturday in July. I mean, is it just incredible?
It's packed, yes. Yeah, it's packed. We're busy. It's very busy up there.
A lot of fun, huh?
A lot of fun. A lot of skiing, a lot of boating, a lot of jet skis. Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Okay. Can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, we can't wait for it to warm up. Okay, there you go from here in Lakeview. The sheriff happy that yesterday morning they got up and they went out and they didn't find any other deceased, but we still had 3. Cleanup continuing. They got to get the power poles back up, the power back on the line, and there will be definitely some kind of economic impact here as they go towards the season because businesses have been impacted. But we want to emphasize again, the tornado path is only so wide. We're not sure how wide this one is. We're waiting for the Weather Service to tell us whether it was 300 yards or 500 yards. What we can tell you, though, that literally 95+% of the area around the lake was unimpacted, unaffected. So if you have plans to come up here, you have places here, just check ahead. Don't cancel your vacation just because you think the area where you want to go was damaged. We'll be right back here on the Weather Channel.
And meteorologist Mike Seidel joins us now from Logan County, which is the scene of the deadly tornado and extensive damage. Mike, you've been in tornado damage a lot of times. It's always very eerie when you look at it, what the tornado chooses to leave and what it destroys.
And how long it takes to happen. Less than a minute. Again, we've talked to people that said, we heard the freight train sound. It was horrible. We never want to hear it again. And you're right. Sometimes you just go into a house and the clothes are hanging in the closet, Lynette, and there's no impact, but then you look and the roof is gone. What we're seeing here is a really healthy return to normalcy. They're trying to get things back in order. One thing is the power. A lot of the business community, a lot of unscathed areas, untouched areas don't have power. They want the power back on. So they're putting the poles up here right off US 33, right off the lake. In fact, right on the other side of these trucks is the lake. Like a 7,000-acre lake, man-made, but boy, what a beautiful place to be in the summertime. It's only 6 to 8 feet deep. You can actually see the bottom. So they're getting the poles back up, the power back on. That's the first thing they're going to do. And the other thing they're doing around town is cleaning up all this debris. These were homes. I assume they were manufactured homes, but you can see the foundations. That's all that's left. Remember, this was EF-3 damage, which puts the winds as high as, or at least 136 miles an hour, up to 165. And we'll just take a walk here, and you can see what we've got going. It's just, as far as the eye can see, this is the path of the tornado, just like this. We don't know the width yet. They're working on that. We should know that in the next couple of days from the Weather Service in Wilmington. But notice, as you get down here, you actually see some semblance of a building, but by and large, even if they're standing, they're going to have to be torn down on a sunny, breezy, cool day here in west central Ohio as the cleanup continues from a tornado that killed 3 and injured about 25 right off this lake. Not only here, but Russell's Point and the Orchard Island area. Those were also hard hit. And as the sheriff told us a short time ago, this is going to have somewhat of an economic impact because people around here, like the sheriff, they're paid off the sales tax. And so if sales tax is down, they have less money coming in. But I want to emphasize that 95% of the area around this incredible lake is fine. No damage at all. So if you've got plans to come up here for the summer, you made plans, check with where you're staying. Or if you're thinking about coming up here, you can always come up here, spend some money and help them out, Lynette. So there you go. Just a lot of cleanup going on. Great weather now, right for the next 3 to 4 days. Next chance of rain and storms is not until later next week.
All right, Mike, yeah, it's always heartbreaking, though, to see the images behind you, and then very unfortunate that we know that the season seems to get longer in terms of the severe weather season. So thank you for that report. We'll get back to you a little bit later. All right, let's take you live now to Western Ohio, where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel.
He joins us from Logan County in a community grappling with the aftermath of a deadly EF-3 tornado. Mike?
Yes, good afternoon once again, Lynette, and we are dealing with the cleanup on another beautiful day, so good weather for the cleanup into most of the next week. Let's bring in a gentleman who was out literally following the twister when it was on the ground. This is Dane Preston from Alger, which is not far from here, but tell us about your experience on Thursday night, and you actually saw it first touch down before it came all the way over here to Lakeview.
Absolutely. We were outside of in between Wapakoneta and St. John's, and the tornado came down outside of town, outside of Wapak, and it had multiple vortices going around, it's spinning around itself.
You know what that means?
That means bad news. Is
right,
what that
exactly.
Means. And once they spun around, then they all converged into one huge wedge tornado, and it was such an exhilarating and amazing sight, but it was very, very scary at the same time.
Well, we've got video. I think we can air right on the Weather Channel right now from Freiburg, which is out in that area, when it first touched down. So you were just a different vantage point. You were just on the north side of 33.
Yes, I was just on the north side of 33, and we seen it touch down, and then once we took off, we went south to get away from the storm so we can turn right around and get another vantage point of it. And then all of a sudden it disappeared. It got rain wrapped and we couldn't see it no more. And then we ended up in Jackson Center, Ohio, which is where we found the very, very large hail.
So what did you see? Did you see any debris? Did you see, what did you see? Because that area is very rural out there.
Right. When it came down, it hit some power flashes. Then we see some debris get lofted in the air. And then we lost the tornado behind a woods. And then we got a little further down south, and then that's when it reappeared again. We seen it, and then we were right on the very edge of the inflow of the storm.
Well, Dane, that's your second tornado.
Yes.
The worst you've seen out of two, by far.
By far, yes.
Okay.
The first one was an EF-0 or EF-1, I believe, in Kenton, Ohio.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Longtime Weather Channel viewer. You said he's been watching me forever. It hasn't seemed like forever. We'll come back here on the Weather Channel, talk about the threat for severe today, only in deep South Texas. More on that next.
And meteorologist Mike Seidel joins us now from Logan County, which is the scene of the deadly tornado and extensive damage. And Mike, what we're seeing right behind you right now is EF-3 tornado damage. It's devastating.
It is, and again, the cleanup is well underway. They had a better day today than yesterday as far as the weather goes. Just couldn't be any nicer for the cleanup with the sunny skies. And you can see what we're talking about, these homes here that are going to have to be just torn down, and they're going to have to start from scratch. There were people in these homes, they survived, and they're lucky to be alive because of this twister. Winds could have been anywhere from 136 to 165 miles an hour. The National Weather Service in Wilmington, 7 tornadoes confirmed, and think about it. Ohio now has had 18. Last count I did, 18, and that's about as many as they see in an entire year. They only usually average 1 in the state in March. So just a crazy busy severe weather season so far. And we talked to the sheriff here in Logan County, Randall Dodds, earlier, and asked him about the cleanup and what he expects to happen here in the days and weeks to come.
This place is devastated in pockets, and it looks like a bomb's went off here. So it's a major undertaking, but as you can tell, you see around here, the cleanup has started. The volunteers are out here, so yeah, but it's going to take a long time.
And he also mentioned the economic impact. This is a huge recreational area. Indian Lake, 7,000 acres, man-made, and it's filled with tourists and locals fishing, boating, skiing, you name it, in the summertime. And this is certainly going to have at least some economic impact. Certainly these businesses that were impacted, restaurants and bars and grocery stores that were hit hard by this tornado. But again, I want to remind you that literally 95+% of the area around this big, very popular lake area an hour west of Columbus was not impacted at all. So there are still a lot of places you can go, and a lot of the RVs we saw. It was just right here, Indian Lake in this town, Lakeview, also Russell's Point and Orchard Island. Those are 2 communities in that direction as the tornado came from here on Thursday night. They had a 14-minute heads up as far as the tornado warning, but the tornado watch came out about 4 hours earlier, 4:15, I believe, in the afternoon. The sirens here went off, but we still had 3 fatalities. 25 people went to the hospital nearby Bellefontaine. Most of those were the scrapes, the abrasions, and also broken bones. So Lynette, they are coming out, the community helping each other, starting the cleanup. It's a long process, and also they're working as fast as they can, the power companies, to get the power back on. A lot of the town not hit, but they want their power back so they can get their businesses back open.
Yeah, Mike, and so many times this season we've seen the severe weather hit so far off to the north. So thank you for this report. We appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about the